And we have two vivid examples: Arjun's inquiry with submissiveness and Dhritarashtra's inquiry without submissiveness. So the Arjun with submissiveness, enlightened by the wisdom of Gita, and he made two decisions. Anybody can remember the two decisions, or the two outcome of submissive inquiry? The first outcome of submissive inquiry is intellectual revision of our concepts. We have to revise our concept intellectually. And generally, the conditioned soul has a concept of enjoying mentality, and to be, in Srila Prabhupada's phrase, to be lording over the material nature. And this has to be revised and transformed into the service-oriented mentality. That is the swarup of a soul. So constitutionally, we should be submissive, but conditionally, we are arrogant. Constitutionally, we must be submissive because that is our constitution. But conditionally, we are arrogant because of the false ego. So basically, from condition to constitution, the path is submissive inquiries. So one is the decision. We have to revise our decision about concept in the life. And what is the second one? A result which we get by submissive inquiries. Anybody remember? Redirecting our emotional affection. Redirecting our emotional affection. Conditionally, we are affectionate to the material object, material people, material propensities, relations, everything of the material world we are affectionate to. But after submissive inquiry from a bona fide spiritual master, we have to redirect our behavior, affection towards Krishna. If these two results achieved, then our inquiries are fruitful and useful. And then there's one example we gave. This was the Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, submitting himself to Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. From worldly point of view, it is a controversial. A highly scholar going to a materially illiterate person. And here in Bhagavatam, who is the speaker of the Bhagavatam in the first canto? Suta Goswami. And who are the listener in the first canto? Sanakadi Rishi. So Sanakadi Rishis are Brahman. They are all in a renounced order. they knows the Vedas. But they're hearing from Suta Goswami, who is not Brahman. But what is the qualification of Suta Goswami? The Rishis are saying in the first canto, first chapter, verse number 8. Vetatvam somya tat sarvam tattvatastat anugraha bruhi snigdhasya sishyasya gurvoho guyam api uta. Srila Prabhupada, for word to word meaning of one who is submissive. So what was the qualification of Suta Goswami? That he was sitting on a Vyasasana and speaking Bhagavatam, and the highly learned Brahmins were sitting down and listening. Translation of the verse goes, and because you are submissive, the Sanak Rishi, the leader of the assembly, is saying, and because you are submissive, your spiritual masters, not one master, masters means plural, have endowed you with all favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple, Somya. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. So what is the most important characteristic of Suta Goswami? Submissive. Snigdha. And if you technically know the word, Srila Prabhupada in the purport writes, the secret of success in spiritual life is in satisfying the spiritual master and thereby getting his sincere blessings. And the process is submissiveness. In essential, Prabhupada says, it is essential, therefore, that a disciple be very much obedient and submissive to bona fide spiritual master. And Suta Goswami fulfilled all these qualifications as a disciple. Therefore, he was endowed with all favor by his learned and self-realized spiritual masters, such as Vyasadeva and others. So now we are going to the, up till now, we were discussing submissiveness in a sincere student. But very easy to understand that if the submissiveness is not in the source, then how can it come in the byproduct? So the submissiveness must be in Krishna. Then it is then it is going to manifest in the living entities who are the part and parcel of Krishna. So this is a philosophical truth, that anything which is not in the source, how can it be in a byproduct? So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where there is a description of Radharani's qualities of Srimati Radharani, 26 or something. So 23, quality number 23 is she is submissive to her companions, other gopis. And since Radharani is submissive, the result is Krishna is submissive to Radharani. Radharani is submissive to the companion gopis. And the next qualification after the two is Madhav is submissiveness, Lakshmi Pati is submissiveness to Radharani. So this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela somewhere. I can quote exactly the words. Now I'm quoting from how Krishna is submissive, or he's looking the opportunity to serve his devotees. Adi Leela, 7th chapter, verse number 45. Kaviraj Goswami writes, Prema haite Krishna hai nija bhakta vasha, Prema haite paye Krishna ras seva sukha ras. Srila Prabhupada translate for word to word bhakta vasha, submissiveness, submissive to devotees. So translation goes, supplied, who is greater than greatest, becomes submissive to even a very insignificant devotee because of his devotional service. It is beautiful and exalted nature of devotional service that infinite Lord becomes submissive to an inestimable living entity because of it, because of devotional service. It's beautiful and exalted nature in reciprocal devotional activities with Lord. The devotee actually enjoys the transcendental mellows of devotional service. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, becoming one with Supreme Personality of Godhead is not very important for a devotee. Srila Prabhupada used to say in a sarcastic way, Mayavadis want to be equal to God. But we want to be more than God. They want to be God, we want to be the Father of God. Because then God will be subservient. He will be submissive. So, why? Then Srila Prabhupada is quoting definition of liberation. Mukti swayam mukhalitanjali sevate asman. Krishna Karnamrita 107. Speaking from his actual experience, Srila Bilva Mangal Thakur says that if one develops love of Godhead, mukti becomes subservient and unimportant to him. So that liberation which the Jnanis aspire is a servant of a devotee. Then Prabhupada writes, Mayavadi philosophers, their standard of mukti is very insignificant for devotees. For by devotional service, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes subordinate to him. An actual example is that Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, become the chariot driver of Arjuna. Is not astonishing? An actual example is that Supreme Lord Krishna become chariot driver of Arjuna. And when Arjuna asked him to draw the chariot between the two armies, Senyor Byor Madhyaratham Stapya Me Achyutam, Krishna executed his order. Arjuna said, do, and Krishna did. Such is the relationship between Supreme Lord and the devotee. That although Lord is greatest, greater than greatest, he is prepared to render service to insignificant devotee by dint of his sincere and unalloyed devotional service. So this is most important, that Lord is ready to be submissive. Once when in Srila Prabhupada's time, in Calcutta, the temple was in a hired building of some landlord. The landlord was a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada's disciple, then Achyutananda Swami, he was discussing with the landlord. Landlord said, Radha and Krishna are like milk and sugar. Then he said, when you mix them together, Radha and Krishna, when they unite together as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then it is very sweet. So Achyutananda Swami was really little confused. He came to Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada, the landlord is saying that Radha and Krishna are like milk and sugar, and when they are mixed together, then it becomes rasgulla, which is very sweet. So Prabhupada, well, who is first and who is the best? So Prabhupada said, naturally, first you have sugar and milk, then you can make rasgulla. So Radha and Krishna is first. Otherwise, how can you make rasgulla? And then he said, who is best? Then Srila Prabhupada was just having a pause for a while. Then in his room, he was looking on the wall. There was a picture where Krishna was massaging the feet of Radharani. Krishna says, see, Radharani is greater than Krishna. Krishna is rendering service. Then Srila Prabhupada looked on another picture. Krishna was having the shoes of Nanda Baba on his head, carrying the shoes of Nanda Baba. Srila Prabhupada, Nanda Baba is greater than Krishna. Krishna is carrying the shoes of Nanda Baba. Then Srila Prabhupada gave the concluding answer. Devotee is greater than God. Devotion make God subservient and submissive. It is daily activities of Krishna in Dwarka. Early in the morning, he has to first rise and do meditation on himself, then do his morning rituals, then go and pay obeisances to all the elders. He's the origin of everything, but in relation, he is acting towards his devotees with all submissiveness. So this nature of submissiveness is in God, in Krishna. And Prabhupada used to say, Radha and Krishna is God, or not are God, is God. Radha and Krishna is God because they are not different, they are one. But both have a quality of submissiveness. And on top of that, to teach us the service attitude and submissiveness, to teach the conditioned soul, the submissiveness and service attitude, Krishna himself expand as his Vaibhav Prakash, Shri Balaram. Who is most merciful and magnanimous, Nityanandaram. Is none different than Krishna. But he is begging with folded hands to everybody knocking on the door and saying, please chant Hare Krishna. I will become your servant. So if Krishna does not expand himself to teach us service, how can we render service, which is our constitution? So Balaramji is teaching us how to serve, and he expand and reflect his mercy and his deep love for Krishna in a selected people. They act as a spiritual master. And the first wonderful English word is disciplic succession. It's not Guru Parampara, it is a disciplic succession. Because they are disciples, they are subservient. They have rendered submissively service to their spiritual master. Therefore, they are a spiritual master. The two English words are very good, which are not appropriate actually in a normal language, which people use in India. One is a disciplic succession. It's not Guru Parampara. It's Shishya Parampara. It's a Shishya Parampara. The perfect disciple can be perfect Guru. The second English word is most important, is God brothers. We are all God brothers, not Guru brother. We have to, all the Gurus are teaching us to love Krishna. Because we are children of Krishna, so we are God brothers. These two words really make us more submissive and subservient in our all dealings. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared as a devotee. Just to teach the science of love of God with all his associates as a Pancha Tattva in 5 forms. So this attitude of submissiveness is just opposite to the false ego. False ego is conditioning to accept the bodies. The root cause is false ego. And submissiveness deliver us from the bodily concept by sincere inquiries. Well, Krishna as a chariot driver of Arjuna is a exalted example of Krishna's submissiveness. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found that illiterate person in South India reading Bhagavad Gita, not knowing anything, but was crying. And everybody was laughing, their Brahmins, that he's illiterate, he don't know anything. Every day he's sitting and crying with the Bhagavad Gita, not holding even properly. Mahaprabhu asked, what are you doing, Brahman? He said, I don't know anything. I'm not literate. My spiritual master told me to read Bhagavad Gita every day. I only look at the picture on the front page. How Supreme Lord become chariot driver of his devotee. And then tears are falling from rolling on my cheeks. But every day this is happening to me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you understood Bhagavad Gita. Understood Bhagavad Gita. This attitude of submissiveness to the words of the spiritual master. Prabhupada writes, Vivasayatmika buddhi eke kurunandana bahusa kayanantasya buddhyo avasayinam. In this purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, the words of the spiritual master is life and soul of a disciple. He has to carry out that. And when Srila Prabhupada read this purport, his determination to execute the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada become so inspiring and forcing him that he established this ISKCON. So this one verse and purport of the one verse become the light for Prabhupada to establish this wonderful movement of Krishna consciousness. The soldiers of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army as a servant all over the world, reclaiming the fallen souls to be subservient, to be submissive. And submissiveness, by submissiveness we get empowerment. And that empowerment is like a sponge. You know, submissive person is like a sponge. And you can absorb anything. So to absorb the spiritual knowledge from a realized soul, we should be like a sponge. And a sponge, you know, you can push, you can press from any side, it is ready to mold. And that is the meaning of snigdha. The word snigdha generally means, snigdha in Sanskrit means ghee, butter, soft. You can mold in any way. And finally, about the submissiveness, when one of Srila Prabhupada's god brother, O.B.L. Kapoor, Adi Keshav Das, when Adi Keshav Das was a professor in some philosophy, and Srila Prabhupada was in Prayagraj having his day pharmacy. He asked one day in a joking mood, Abhay, Babu, you are making medicine. Do you have some medicine to develop love of God? And Srila Prabhupada replied, yes. And eagerly Adi Keshav asked, what is that? Pranad api sunichena taror api sahishnona amanina manadena kirtanya sada hari. This is the medicine. And this is the complete package of submissiveness. Srila Prabhupada took almost a month to Shantipur when he was Grasta. After Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, he again went there. Now he was in saffron and he was crying. Because Shantipur is a place where there is a Betak for three Prabhus. All three, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu and Advaita Acharya, they were together there. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, the three were there. So Prabhupada used to go and cry there. And he was crying there for hours. Say, Pujari noticed him that he's the same person who used to come every month here. Now he's in a different dress of saffron. Is he the same person? So he went, he said, I have nothing to really say and disturb you in your meditation, but I have little doubt. Are you the same person who used to come? He said, yes. Now I have to fulfill the mission of my spiritual master. It took a long time. Now I am going to the West and spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Pujari, simple Bengali there at Shantipur, why he just said, oh, how can this old man can do all this? Pujari said one day, after a couple of years, one Western devotee having a Back to Guarded magazine and came there, and I was surprised to see Western Vaishnava. So I asked him, how come you become Vaishnava? Then he opened the book and showed in Back to Guarded Prabhupada's picture, my guru. Then that Pujari said, I was crying. What submissiveness of that great personality. Every month crying at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, three Prabhus, and how he was empowered to revolutionize the whole world. And here, when Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan at Radha Damodar temple, a simple saintly Vaishnava in a next door building was observing every day, midnight, 1 o'clock, somebody crying and sweeping in front of Rupa Goswami's samadhi. He said, I was young, I was sleeping, but then I was hearing every day some crying. So one day from my roof, I watched, he was Abhay Sharanarvind, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, every day sweeping in front of Rupa Goswami and crying, my master has told me something. How can I achieve this? Only by your blessing, only by your empowerment. We are all Rupanogas, exalted spiritual master of the whole world, was sweeping in front of the samadhi of Rupa Goswami every night, sincerely crying and praying. So this is our Srila Prabhupada, how, and his submissiveness to the mission. Well, in Jhansi, when he was preaching, he was going in cycle and on the bicycle and distributing his books. And in Vrindavan, the Goswami of Radharaman, remember that every month he used to come on a cycle, bicycle, riding on a bicycle. And the bicycle has not enough oiling to the and greasing, and from inside we used to hear that woe. Now the magazine is coming and he used to deliver the magazine to our door. So this example of submissiveness of Srila Prabhupada is an early mission of spreading Krishna consciousness, has empowered him to be the unique, unparalleled Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya in the world. But we speak of world in 3 worlds. His simpleness and humbleness, and his submissiveness. And how submissive he was when he was a spiritual master in America. These are all young. His students used to come and he has to cook for all, and they used to eat and leave the plates behind. And Prabhupada used to wash those plates left by his would-be disciples. And he was happy and jubilant to do this service to his would-be sons in the future as the disciples. He was doing it. Satsvarup Maharaj remembers that from my office I used to call, Swamiji, today can you make samosa? We want to relish samosa. We used to give order to Srila Prabhupada, make samosa for us. And when we used to come in the evening and the samosas were ready. Now we are realizing that we were ordering our spiritual master. But Srila Prabhupada those who were sincere to serve the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada was ready to render any service. And such a unique Acharya who has cooked for his devotees, who has washed their dishes, who has made them to how to wear dhoti, how to wear sari, how to learn everything, is in the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. There's no such Acharya with such submissiveness and with such dedication to the mission and serving to the people who are not at all Suchi or clean or Vaishnavas. And he made them Vaishnavas by his power of submissiveness and authority. If you are submissive, then you are given authority and empowerment, Gaura Shakti. They are Gaura Shakti Swarupaya because they are submissive. And our Acharya, when they are writing song, they are saying, I am most fallen. I am most fallen. I am like a worm in the stool. I am like a dog. When they are saying this, they mean this. This is their humbleness and submissiveness. That has made them the ever lasting epitome of spirituality, the greatest acharyas. So this attitude of service in a submissive mood, even when you read the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, they are not books, they are persons. And if we have a service attitude and submissive bent of mind, then they will reveal their secret. These books are not books, they are personalities. If we have submissive and serious and service mentality, then these books will reveal. The words become persons and inspire you from within the heart. So Krishna is in everybody's heart as a super soul, and he will see our submissiveness and sincerity, and accordingly and reciprocation, he will empower us to render wonderful devotional service in the mission of Mahaprabhu. I think we end here. Any question or comment or something about this topic as a value education is useful for you? Because we don't have a format. This is something extempore, whatever is coming, we are sharing with you. Anybody has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Thanks for the class. I think last time you mentioned servant attitude leads to a peaceful state of mind. So I just want to ask, but what if when we surrender to the master, but sometimes the order or instruction of the spiritual master is not the same as our own interest. Our own interest might conflict with the order of the spiritual master, and that then we would not have a peaceful state of mind. So I want to ask, how do we follow the instruction of the guru more easily, instead of thinking sometimes we know better than the guru, how to follow that instruction more easily, so not have it disturbed.
When he's away, when the spiritual master is away, what you are saying?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
No, you are saying when a spiritual master has given instruction and he's away?
No, when the instruction of the spiritual master is not aligned, it's different from our own interest. So maybe sometimes we are ordered or instructed to do something by the guru, but actually in our own mind, we wanted to do something else, something different. And then we're not going to have a peaceful state of mind. So how to follow the instruction better instead of thinking, I want to do something else. I know better than my guru, because otherwise we're just going to have like a very disturbing state of mind.
Now, if we think I am better than my spiritual master, then definitely we are not in a right frame of mind. What Srila Prabhupada used to say, spiritually, you have to follow my instructions because I am representing the parampara. But in your country, what is the lie? I don't know. So here you may guide me. How can I do the things in your country? So there is no problem if you think that you know better than your spiritual master in your country about the law of your country and how to act. There is no problem in that. But about the Krishna consciousness, the word of the spiritual master is final for us. We have not to think about this. We simply accept this. Well, this is the secret that in worldly education, first you have to understand and then accept. And in spiritual discipline, first you accept and then understand. Just contrary, first you accept and then understand. This is the difference between the two. But even a spiritual master, I know better than him, then it is your mistake actually. But the wiser spiritual masters, this you can see in Bhagavad Gita. Duryodhana think I know better than my spiritual master Dronacharya. He's telling him, go and see what is going on there, giving order to the Dronacharya. And that is the sign of his losing everything. And on the other hand, first Krishna has to blow the conchal and then the Arjuna has to follow. And Krishna has to tell Arjuna, see what is there. So your question is very simple. For a spiritual master, whatever he says, we have to simply say yes. You may not be knowing it, you may not be understanding it, but you say yes, then he will empower you from inside. So Krishna will empower you to accomplish what is impossible. Our Grace Narayani Maharaj to say that I was in Calcutta, somebody said, Prabhupada wants somebody to edit and type Bengali. I was not knowing anything about Bengali. I wanted to serve Prabhupada. I said, yes, I can do it. And then I went and I did it. Though I was not knowing anything. So when a spiritual master says something empowered by Krishna, and if even you don't know, you don't understand, if you do it, you will be successful. But you think I'm knowing better than a spiritual master and try to. Prabhupada used to say, use your intelligence. Do the way you like, but the order should be carried out. It's not that prototype you have to do in the same way. Like a spiritual master says, distribute books. Now you have to use your intelligence and talent. How to distribute books, 1-to-1, or going to the company, giving 1,000 books to one person. That is your intelligence. There you can use your intelligence and your talents. But original order has to be kept as it is. No change in that order. Is it okay? Have I understood your question?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much for wonderful
Dandavat Pranam.
lecture. When it comes to
yes, Prabhuji.
Submissiveness among devotees, so is it how to execute that every time we should be submissive to the devotees? How is it possible? Should we not apply our intelligence, or I mean to say, when it is a spiritual master, or when Krishna, as a dealing with Arjuna, he accepted as a guru and he was following his instruction, Krishna's instruction, and Krishna was serving him like a chariot driver. So but when it comes to the devotees, among devotee circle, so how we have to execute this submissiveness? Because everyone have some different mood, everyone have some different intelligence and different way of service.
The first thing among the Vaishnava is when the devotee meet, they have to pay obeisance to one another. That is their first sign of submissiveness. Valpatrubhyas, when they meet, that is now more or less evaporated and forgotten. I remember early days in the Maruti, before the doors open, anybody who was coming in the temple, everybody used to pay obeisance. There was a time when this was a tradition, but now this is disappearing more or less. So this one simple gesture when meeting a Vaishnava, paying obeisance, it means, paying obeisance means I am your servant. Now, when it comes in discussion, then we can give our opinion, but we should not be attached to our opinion. We can give our opinion, but we should not be attached. If they don't follow us, our opinion, somebody has a better opinion, then we should go along with that. But I mean, it is my words, then it's an ego. This is my idea. If it really suits everybody, then it's okay. But ultimately, the benefit, if it benefits the whole movement and the whole mission, then it's okay. It's only for me is not good. So we should not be attached to our opinion, but we should be always ready to give our opinion. In a Vaishnava community, our success depends upon the blessing of the Vaishnavas. If they all bless us, then we can do wonderful things. So there's no harm in giving our opinions, but that should also be in a submissive mood, not in a bossing mood or ordering mood, but it should be also, in my humble opinion, this is one other alternative. Can you think it can help our movement? That the other person will think about that. And we have to accept that in an association of Vaishnava, in a community of Vaishnava, we have so many now new methods coming of preaching. So this is good. This is good. We accept all this. So that is needed. With the time, we have to change our strategies, but not the principle. So Vaishnavas, we have first at least have a respect in heart. We may not accept the opinion, but we should have still respect.
At times, Prabhu, it gives an apprehension that there is a chance to, someone can misuse our submissiveness.
No, say that's what on the first day we said there's a positive and negative submissiveness. And spiritual is a submissiveness positive, but material is negative. If materially somebody wants to exploit your submissiveness for his personal some aggrandizement, what is called, for his personal self-interest, then it's not good. And it's sometimes people use, if they are at a material platform, they can use the submissiveness of the other devotee for personal use, but that's not advisable. That will not help them spiritually. Therefore, this is a very interesting that the language we use is Prabhu to the another Vaishnava. It means you are my master. We use this language, but we don't never mean this. So Prabhupada used to call his disciple Prabhu. So this is actually a culture that we all are servant. Srila Prabhupada was asked once by a news reporter, "Are you a spiritual master of George Harrison?" Srila Prabhupada was just keeping quiet for a while and then said, "No." He said, "No, I am servant of everybody." He answered, "I am servant of everybody." That was his consciousness. I am here to serve, to train these all and offer it to my spiritual master Krishna. So his mood was service. Somebody told Prabhupada, "How can I please you, Prabhupada?" So Prabhupada, when you develop and awaken love of Krishna, that will please me. So ultimately, the pleasure of the spiritual master is our awakening of love of Krishna. That is the ultimate final goal. So Srila Prabhupada's whole life, you see, is how his all actually, I'm servant of everybody. This is the Prabhupada's word to the newspaper. I'm not a spiritual master, I'm the servant.
So one last thing is when we see the relationship of Arjuna and Lord Krishna, so Lord Krishna is serving him physically also, becoming chariot driver. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada has served physically also by washing the dishes, cooking prasadam and all.
Right.
But these days, what we can see now, the our in ISKCON, Guru Maharaj has around 3,000, 4,000 devotees. So there is even what to say for physical any service. There is very rare chance to meet even with Guru, or very rare meeting. So here only scene of Vani Seva. It is like we mostly connected with through Vani. So how to understand it? And
basically, we are an institute, as ISKCON as an institute. So whichever temple we are working, that temple authorities we are working with, that is really our immediate spiritual authority. And if we follow their rules, and then our progress is very fast, because they engage us in a service, and service is only the way we can progress. Spiritual master has given us the rules and regulations which our Prabhupada has already instituted, and he has given us. And presently, those may be made many disciples, but they are serving by giving their classes regularly and printing some books. By that, they are serving us. They are serving us by opening temples where we go and live. And how many temples are opened by the present spiritual master? They are giving us the whole full temple opening, and we can serve there. So they are physically serving us in a different way, by writing books, by opening temples, by providing. I still know some spiritual masters, they used to drive the car, and we used to sit with him, drive our car, like Krishna is driving the chariot. I've seen some doing like that also. But they are serving us in a different way, by opening books, by opening temples, by printing books, by inspiring to distribute books. They are doing it. May not be physically, but they are doing it.
yes, no. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. See you again. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Wonderful class.
Hare
Is
Krishna.
this
Thank you so much,
submissiveness
Prabhu.
of some use for you?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, definitely. Nice, very nice point.
Definitely, bro. It seems I have to check how submissive I am.
Yeah, well, this is very difficult. I mean, this is against the nature of a conditioned soul. This is just against the nature of a conditioned soul. So we have to cultivate this consciously. We have to cultivate this consciously. The conditioned soul is just opposite to submissiveness. And you see, the example is small children. Small children, they are not submissive at all. They do whatever they want to do. That is our position in a spiritual life. For spiritually, we are still like that child. So the child has to be trained to be submissive. He cannot be on his own. So we have to be trained to be submissive, actually. And by example, as Prabhupada has by example trained us how to be submissive. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Whatever.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hari Bol.
for your wonderful class.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावने वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.